Hi everybody, Don Giannetti, Lighting Essentials. Yesterday I put up a little video about 15 things you needed to think about before you quit your corporate job, or if you did quit your corporate job, 15 things you need to think about as you go into the freelancing career. That holds true for designing, photography, music, just about anything. Lots to think about, but I think one of the number one things, and the reason I saved it for a second video, one of the number one things is self-discipline. Absolute control and self-discipline. Without self-discipline, freelancing is impossible. You'll flounder, you'll fail, hopefully you won't, but you will. You'll blame everybody else but what happened. And what happened was you weren't disciplined enough to stay on track. If you're a photographer, that means, taking photographs. If you're a designer, it means designing. If you're a writer, it means writing. If you're a musician, it means playing and composing. Everything else that you do is on the surface of that. And if the thing that you're doing doesn't help you with any of your endeavors, then you shouldn't be doing it. As I said yesterday, there's no such thing as work-life balance when you're starting this business, starting any business. There's no such thing as work-life balance. There's work, there's more work, and there's more work. Work-life balance comes after you've made it. We see these Hollywood stars and, rich people going, oh yes, and I have 2 nannies because I think it's important for my work-life balance. That's true, but when Steven Spielberg was starting out, there was no work-life balance. The man worked 20 hours a day. You're competing against people who work 20 hours a day. Understand that. Now, if you're quitting your job and you're 24 and you're pushing hard, that's great. You've got the stamina, you've got the age on your side. If you're 57 and you get downsized and you're going to go into photography, you're going to have to really be self-disciplined, because you've got to work the entire shift. And I've always believed that if you want to get successful, just work half a day. That's all you have to work, is a half a day. You pick the 12 hours of that half day you want to work, because that's just pretty much what it's like. And then you have to throw in a few more hours of work on top of it. So being a freelancer means being self-disciplined enough to give yourself assignments, to know that if it's a slow day, that you go and set something up and shoot it. If you're a people shooter, go do some random portraits in the neighborhood. Go up and photograph the guy at the 7-Eleven. I don't care what it is that you do. I really don't. But you got to do something. You have to do something to advance your work. Cold calling, cold emailing, photographing, processing images, planning shoots. Everything else goes on top of that. That's the surface. That's your core down there. The core is your business. Tough business. Being a freelancer is tough. It's not going to get any easier. The freelance world is changing. We have freelance taxi cab drivers now, Uber, Lyft, those folks. We have freelance musicians. These are folks that basically work right off of YouTube. There's some amazing talent on YouTube, and YouTube is their platform now. They're not looking for record deals. They're not looking for all of the other middlemen that can happen in that business. They're happy right there on YouTube because they know themselves and they have the discipline to put it out there. There's a young man named Peter Hollins. He has the discipline to put out a different piece of music every 2 weeks, like clockwork. Boom. Get it shot, get it dubbed, get it out. Push, push, push. There's time for that work-life balance crap later, but not right now. Not when you're pushing and pushing hard. You can be any age. You can be an old timer like me. You can be a 22-year-old coming right out of college if you actually went to college, which I don't really recommend unless you really need it, like to be a doctor or a lawyer, everything. You go to college to be an artist. Wow, what you could have done with that money. Of course, they won't give it to you. You've got to go to school to get the money, and then you got to pay them back every nickel plus interest. And then you're competing against people who didn't go to school and don't have a loan and don't have a payment due every 30 days. So it's a very tough world of competition, but it's also an exciting world of competition. Being self-employed, being disciplined enough to be self-employed, being disciplined enough to watch your finances, keep making the art, keep pushing yourself to do better and better and better. How well did you do yesterday? Nobody cares. What are you going to do today? And where are you going tomorrow? And this all comes from self-discipline. I said yesterday, get a calendar. If you tell me you're too busy to create new shots for your portfolio, I'll call you a liar to your face unless you shot every day that week. If you didn't shoot every day that week, you should have been shooting for your portfolio. It's just the way it is. And never going to change. So self-discipline is the number one article to throw on top of all the other 15 things I talked about yesterday. And being self-disciplined means knowing yourself, knowing what you can do, and knowing how to change. If you want to change, if you're not self-disciplined enough and you want to change, you'll find a way to do it. You know how? Through self-discipline. See you tomorrow.